Hey, what's going on, Archons? I'm here in what I'm dubbing officially Alliance Week because everything I have done on content creation has had to do with Alliance this week. Heck, not only that, almost everything I've been doing with KeyForge for the past 2 weeks has been Alliance related. And I have good reason for that. Some of you may not be loving Alliance for whatever reason. Some of you may be looking to embrace it in some capacity due to the fact that it is going to be a part of the game for the announced future. And as a result, I've been delving into making Alliance decks for various reasons. So I decided to talk about my process because it has vastly changed since I first went and made a deck, which is this right here, Alliance of Director Bramble. That was my first Alliance deck that I basically made. Aside from this 99 one here, which I literally just threw together three decks that I did not use. And they were like, these are three cool decks that I don't use any of them. And how can I bring them together and make them work? And that one is like, it's a fine deck, but it's nothing thoughtful. And then from there, I kind of came across the deck that is over here. It's Alliance of Chronosoap. Yeah, Chronosoap. And the truth is that deck has taken me down an interesting path because I have played this deck many iterations, like the most I've ever done in Alliance, and it all came together in a very unique and interesting way. So I first started off with a singular house, which was Logos. This Logos is one of my favorite Logos houses that I own, period. It's very creature heavy, and the creatures there I really like and can utilize. Like the house is self-contained to do some really interesting things with mutants, for that matter. So from there, I had another house that had a strong mutant contingent and a Vault's Blessing. And I decided, let's really capitalize on this Vault Blessing and just do bursty things with it. Draw a card, do bursty things. And then I realized something. I wasn't maximizing the situation. I was like, oh, what if I had a Dark Ember Vault? So, next thing, take out the third house that was there. So it was the Logos and Untamed, not that you see here. And then I add in this Shadows Dark Ember Vault. And I was like, whoa, that's cool. Now I got the Dark Ember Vault going on top of my Professor Toronto situation, which just drawing cards for days. Fun. So my mind's like, I like this. This is fun. So I'm playing this deck. I'm testing it. I'm learning what it's doing. And then I'm seeing what it's not doing. And then it dawned on me, wait a second, I have this amazing Shadows house, which has triple Rad Penny. That'd be fun with a Dark Ember Vault. So I go and I add that house in. But the problem is my Shadows house before with the Dark Ember Vault was Shadows. So I couldn't have both. So then I found this last version, which had a Vault's Blessing and a Dark Ember Vault and some bunch of mutants and stuff. And I was like, okay, let's throw this in. And that's the version here that I played. And it did cool things. I enjoyed the way it played. But then I was like, oh, so it has all this, and the Shadows is cool and all. And I'm doing a lot of the stuff of drawing and playing cards and drawing and reaping and drawing, and it's just getting ridiculous drawing. Like that's essentially what I've realized Alliance is for the most part, is like how crazy can you draw your deck and hold your whole deck or a good portion of your deck throughout a game. That's what I really have gotten what Alliance is who can stunt the hardest with their draw game. That's what it is. And that's a cool part of the game. It also can be a stupid part of the game, though. Then that's all you're doing, and you're going in circles, and you're not moving forward, which can happen. So that's one part of it. Then that led me to these two bottom ones here, which I'm now debating between, which is adding Dis with a key cheat, so Obsidian Forge. It was basically adding a key cheat, and I knew I couldn't touch the Logos. I knew I couldn't touch the Untamed. And so this was where I figured I could bring in a key cheat that I like, because the most obvious ones are in Untamed, and then Dis with Obsidian Forge and a high creature count. It seemed good to me. And now I'm kind of really testing this out. But that was the evolution of it, is I figured out what I wanted to do. And I also kind of just tweaked and keep going. And that's where I'm at right now with that deck. I kind of took a break from it because I was playing a lot, and I got inspired with another idea, so I went with that. For those of you who watched the last video, these are the two decks. They're really interesting. They both state a low expected ember, mainly I think because of the high creature count. And but as far as board control and ember control is pretty much spot on. And then you just kind of decide where you want to go from there. But yeah, here is what it looks like, just in its whatever. Now, I've been playing around with other decks. The most one I've come onto is trying out a different AOA builds, and I have different ideas. I have different concepts with varying ideas that I want to test out and see where they work. They have different things for different reasons. Some I was inspired by other people I played against. Some was something I was testing. I really wanted to throw Sanctum in the mix because I do love some AOA Sanctum. And I'm basically building, I haven't fully tested these yet, but I found some cool things that I want to see what they do. One thing when I'm building Alliance is I'm really enjoying the aspect of incrementally doing things. Play a deck a few times, see what it does. And when you see what it does, you make a decision. Is this what I want? Is something lacking? Yes, something is lacking. Okay. What can I swap in to, address the lack? And as a result of me doing that, what has now changed within the deck? And that is really the biggest question you need to ask. Is when you're taking something out, what else are you sacrificing as a result? Because that is huge, and you may not realize it. Because the cool thing about the deck building in Alliance is that it's never perfect, and there's always a sacrifice. Because when you change something, you're changing a third of the entire deck and everything that comes along with it. And that's really interesting. It's an interesting way to deck build because it is not completely in control, and it's making compromises and sacrifices for various reasons. So what you're doing has to be thoughtful and done purposely to support your end game, which is whatever the deck you're trying to build. And I really enjoy it. The process of building a Alliance deck is, the testing is really fun. Seeing what happened when I added this, now what happens. There's this that's familiar, and now there's this that's foreign, and how does it interact? And I think it's a really great way of going about it. You may have a very, you're dialed in, you know what you want to do, and you just go and do it and see how it works out. And you're just trying different iterations of basically the same thing. I found that finding a little thing, like as you play, something emerges. You're like, I like the way that happened. It did this result. Can I do that more? Can I find a better way to do that? And that's how you have to go about it, is an exploratory curiosity, an exploratory fashion with the wonder and curiosity that KeyForge provides. And that's what this does provide. So go in with wonder, go in with curiosity, see what you can find, and don't be afraid to just spend time building things. I mean, a lot of things I did was choose a set, choose a house I liked in the set. What do I like in this house? Okay, do I have a few cards that have this? Do I have like at least 2 versions of this card? Do a search in DOK, find what comes up. Are there other things I like? What don't I like? Are the things I don't like bad enough that I should discount the whole deck? Things like that. And you got to just play through it, figure out what you like, and tweak as you go. But spending time on DOK and searching for all this stuff, I mean, I made a spreadsheet to make notes on houses that have interesting things with the link, so that way I could go back to it when maybe I'm revisiting the idea of building a sets Alliance deck, and I want it to do something. I look at that. So I hope this was not just coming across as a huge rambling, which now looking back and reflecting, I feel it was. And I hope you got something out of this, and that my perspective on how I've approached Alliance and the joy I've got from it. I've also had some misery playing Alliance, like where I was just like, this is a 1-player game, which can happen. But I find the process and the journey of getting to a deck is something that is really fulfilling. And if you have not taken the time to try this exercise and you just found out what other people are doing, take the time to go through your collection and see the pieces that you like and start to figure out ways that it can come together in a unique way, because it's very fulfilling. It's very fun to do. And I find it's providing me a new way to enjoy KeyForge that I have not done before. And for that, I am super happy and grateful for. So, yeah. May your ember never be stolen, your keys forged promptly. Have a good one.